What's going on, guys? Cox here. Just wanted to say, if you're a returning viewer, thank you for coming back and engaging with us. If this is your first time here, welcome. Please go ahead and take this opportunity to go ahead and subscribe to our channel here, like the video, and leave us a comment in the description below after you watch the video of things you liked, didn't like, things you agreed with, things you didn't agree with, things you think we suck at. Feel free. Anything you want to say there, guys. We love it. The engagement is perfect for us. Ask us some questions that we can field for next week. Would obviously be good as well. Thank you again for your patience as we continue to get better and better with this process. Trying to work remotely with Bryson being in Florida. It's tough, and we're working on it. There was a slight little bit of audio catch from something. I think I already fixed it for next week. But this week, I just appreciate your patience as you're going to hear that a couple different times. But thank you for that. Again, enjoy the content, and we'll see you next week, and go Atlanta. Alright, guys, welcome to another episode of Cox and Bright Talk Kicky. This is week 2 of the MLS. This is our second episode as well, obviously. It is Wednesday night. We're right after the first leg of the quarterfinals for Atlanta United. They just finished up their match against Monterrey. Not the best result, but we'll get into that later. We've got Bryson on the phone here, coming in from Florida as always, and we're going to basically just go through the week and touch base on the things that happened over the course of the week and what we previewed last week. So first, let's get into it. Over on Sunday, we played DC United in DC at Audi Field. Fans were rowdy. It was rainy as heck. Rained hard the entire time. Field got kind of nasty. Got a bit sloppy, bit chippy. We knew it would be. All our games are going to be this year. With us being the defending champs, everyone's going to want to knock us down a peg. And, you know, they looked really good. DC United did, and you know, kind of gave it to us. Honestly, I mean, at the very first 20 minutes, they're playing high press, which people have figured out is the way to play against us now. They were doing a lot of work with that, keeping the high pressure on us. Had a nice opportunity that they just missed. And then probably about 25-ish minutes in, Atlanta United started to find their groove. They had 20 good minutes going into the half that I thought looked really, really promising, and I was feeling pretty confident that it was just like, you know, an even match, and, you know, we would get an opportunity for Joseph to spring forward, and he wouldn't miss, and we'd be good to go. But, you know, right before half, Paul Arriola scored on like the Paul Arriola scored on like the last attempt of the half. He actually had a really good game. Scored in a nice, just little tap-in situation on a rebound off a corner. What's unlucky about that is the initial corner that they got, this was the second corner in a row, but the initial corner they got should not have ever been a corner. It should have been a goal kick. Guzan should have cleared it out. We should have been, you know, battle it out in midfield for the last 30 seconds, go into the half 0-0, and we're looking all right. But they go into the half with all of the momentum, come back out. Acosta has a bit of magic, and just kind of gets lucky, you know, kind of a misplay by Guzan on top of it. The rain, I think, caused it to bounce a little bit weird, a little bit high, and Guzan muffed it, and, you know, they go up 2-0, and then from there, you know, they looked very dominant. They were pushing for a third. Rooney was doing some techers around on the field. I remember one, he just did this tidy little back heel pass right on the sideline, and I was just like, dude, he's just playing around. Like, honestly, a little bit disrespectful, but at the same time, game appreciate game. Like, he was killing it out there. He looked phenomenal.
Game appreciate game, Cox. Come on. You ain't got no game, bro.
Hey, man, a man can dream. A man can dream, right? No. Honestly, you know, they play better than us. But are you concerned after the game?
No. I'm not concerned because, like I said last week, we've got a new manager, new formation. We have a super crowded schedule. We, you know, we're forced to put in some players that wouldn't regularly be playing. You know, it's a tough situation we're in with this Concacaf Champions League, but it is what it is. We're trying to be successful in the Concacaf League, and we're trying to be successful in the MLS. That's going to come at a price. We're going to have to rest players sometimes. We're going to have to play some young guys, play some guys who wouldn't normally start. But hey, that's only going to make us stronger down the road. When those guys have to have another moment where they start, they're going to be better for it. Those game minutes are very valuable. I get that some fans aren't happy about the decisions that Frank DeBauer is making, but give him some time, give him a second, because this is the price you pay for being a dominant team that's in multiple competitions.
Definitely. 100% agree. And, at the end of the day, this type of lineup that we're running, this 5-4-1, is going to come down to exceptional play in the midfield, where our midfield plays better than their midfield. In this game, I feel like our midfield got outclassed. And, that's just a very good DC United team. I think they have a very, very strong chance of going through. Actually, I'm pretty sure from the time last year, obviously they lost in the playoffs, but before that they had gone unbeaten in like 10 games, I think. So 11 of their last 12 games, they're unbeaten. They're on a stellar run right now, and Acosta is playing phenomenal. So I'm not too worried about it. We have lost all of our season openers since we have become an organization, 0-3 since we started as a club. So, just keeping par for the course, Last year we lost 4-0 to Houston, which was a much worse team. And so no real concern yet. I wouldn't think so at all. So next we go forward to today. We played Monterrey in the first round of the Concacaf Champions League quarterfinals. We play in Monterrey. And kind of stuck with them for a little bit, but we bring out Mikey Ambrose again because we're struggling on the wingbacks. Apparently Gressel was injured, which is a tough loss for us. But, we put out a pretty decent squad. We were kind of hanging with them for a little bit. I wasn't too concerned at first. There was some tough opportunities early on, but we kind of settled in. And I was thinking, if they score one and we go back to our place down only 1-0, that's not a bad result, especially being in Mexico. But things kind of fell apart a little bit. Monterrey really just outclassed us all the way across the board. They have some very, very talented players. Again, like you said, not a huge concern. The DeBauer system is going to take time to get put into place. It's going to require a lot from the wingbacks, and unfortunately, the structure of the CONCACAF does not favor an MLS team at all. What are your thoughts on the structure of it, the differences between Liga MX and MLS? And the issues that are already in front of any MLS team, let alone the struggles of a new team with a new coach.
Yeah, so you've said it to me before. These South American teams, these Mexican teams, they're in mid-season form. So we're not. We're in preseason form.
Yeah.
We've had one league game under our belt, which we weren't comfortable during that either. We're still settling in with a new coach and a new formation, totally new system, new players. Our team has a way different face than it did last season, so they're going to have to play different. So we got a lot of settling in and learning to do, and once we get comfortable, it's going to be tough to stop us just like it was last season. But us fans, we got to understand it's going to take time. Don't blame Frank DeBauer. It's not his fault. Mickey moved on because he's a supremely skilled player. He deserved that. Greg Garza moved on. That's just a tactical decision. I know it's hard to say, but I back it up. So, we're going to have to fill in some gaps, and we're going to have to adapt, and that's what we'll do. But, yeah, the CONCACAF doesn't favor us, but hey, this is one of the reasons an MLS team has never won it, but it's just a thing that we're going to have to overcome, and I think we can. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and on top of that, Monterrey, if you don't know them, you don't follow Liga MX, I don't blame you, but Monterrey is unbeaten this year in Liga MX through 12 games. They have gone unbeaten in all competitions through 12 games. And so they are sitting at the top of that league as well, and that is a league that is arguably, but I would say for sure, and most people I think would agree, still a better league than the MLS as far as quality players, all the way across the board. So honestly, I was already going into this round thinking that we had a very, very tough mountain to climb in front of us. And like I said, I thought we honestly held our own for a while there until near the end. Things kind of fell apart, and that's probably, tired legs as well. But like you said, not a thing to be worried about. Do you think, Bryson, this is a quick question for you, try to answer it in like a minute or less, based off of your best judgment, do you think that until we have our full squad back off injury, with Escobar and some other players, that DeBauer should be still rocking this system and trying to get everybody used to it? Or do we just not have the quality players we need at those wingbacks to run this formation at this point in time?
Well, yes and no. we have all the players that we need to run it besides the wingers.
Yes.
Which I don't think that's going to change. Like, maybe Tito could do it over there on the right. Maybe Escobar could do it over there on the right. But nobody I know of on our team is going to be able to be a complete player on that left side. Breck Shea is the closest we got, and I'm just not very impressed with him. He was a desperation signing for me because we don't have Garza anymore. We don't have McCann anymore. And Bello isn't the strongest yet. He's a young kid. He's learning still. So, I mean, I get the thinking behind signing Shea, but to answer your question, I think we should keep running the formation because we've got to get used to it because that's what Frank DeBauer wants. And I think if we do it right, it can work. But we need to figure something out for our wingers.
Yeah.
They've got to change their ways, change how they play, or we got to get someone that can do it on the left side.
Yeah, and it's tough as a lot of the transfer windows are closing. I know some of the South American ones are still open, but I think China's closed, Europe's closed, so we're in kind of a tough spot as far as that goes. And I agree that we should keep running the system, but we got to figure something out with the wingbacks. But if we can't figure out something out with the wingbacks, then we're beating a dead horse. I don't know if it's worth.
Right, and that's a decision for Frank DeBauer to make.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Honestly, he's a good manager. I want to trust him until he gives me a reason not to.
Yeah, that's fair. We should give him that trust.
These
I agree.
early season losses aren't a reason for us not to trust him. That's not his fault.
100% agree. I think we should stick in the same system as well. One more person I think I really want to see soon, I guess he's still working towards fitness, is Pogba. When he's ready to go, I'd love to see him trying that wing back. Like you said, Villalba would be fine there too. We just need to rotate people through until we find the right system. But I agree, let's keep the same system. Let's keep it intact in our next game, which is a perfect segue into our next game. We're playing Cincinnati FC, the brand new team, at home. What do you think of that match? They looked pretty good against Seattle.
Yeah, they did look good. I wouldn't underestimate them because they're a new team. They looked great when they played in the USL. They have a bunch of those players they brought with them. Plus a bunch of new signings, including our own Greg Garza, so we'll welcome him back to the Benz. If he's in the lineup, I think he's got a nagging injury or he's not fully fit yet, something like that, but he wasn't available for week 1. But anyway, it's going to be a close game, if you ask me. We're a half-strength squad right now. We're tired legs, and we're still figuring out our system. So with them being a good team, with us being still figuring things out and being tired, I think that measures up to what will be a close game that'll be decided by 1 goal. So that's what I'm looking at, and I'm also thinking we're going to have some new faces in the lineup, some young faces. Maybe we'll see Carlton or Bello. Maybe we'll see Romario Williams because Josef, he's got to be getting tired. So we'll see what we see as far as the lineup goes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they scored a banger of a goal against Seattle, so that was definitely awesome. But then, part of the coolest part of that game was watching Jordan Morris come back and play amazing. Wasn't that fun to watch?
You love to see that. I'm an American, and he's a U.S. international, so I love to see him banging in goals again. And anybody, no matter who you are, I don't care who you are, you love to see a player come back from a season-ending injury from last season, come back in and just go off to a flying start.
Yeah.
I get it if you're a Portland fan, maybe, but everybody else should be ecstatic to see that.
Yep.
So happy for him. I hope he keeps it up and kind of supports Rui Diaz as he was kind of the lone goal scorer last season.
Yeah.
So this could mean a big difference in the season outcome for Seattle. We'll see what happens, but congratulations to Jordan Morris.
I'm super excited for him, especially because he's playing on the wing now. It's a different spot for him. A lot of people were saying, he'll just be a distributor. He'll get a lot of assists potentially and, create a distraction, but probably won't bang in that many goals. To come out straight away and get a brace, and also with one with his right foot, one with his left, I love to see that. And then you see people coming off an ACL injury usually lose a step in speed. He looked still incredibly fast, which has always been a huge benefit for him. I agree. I love to see that, and hopefully Greg Berhalter will bring him up again soon and get him training with the guys for the national team. I would love to see him back on that as well. He has that great experience from Gold Cup and all that as well. So, I'd love to see that for sure. That's super exciting. But that being said, it wasn't too hard for him. Cincinnati's defense leaves a lot of space. And so, honestly, my prediction for the game, Cincinnati didn't look all that threatening on offense besides the incredible goal that Bartone, whichever one it is, did score. There wasn't a whole lot of threatening, I felt like, in between the lines there. And so, I think Atlanta United will definitely find some space. This is me staying optimistic for the lads, but I think they win 2-0. Part of that being the home field bins factor involved there. What is your score prediction? I know you said one goal one way or the other, but do you have a team you're favoring to win?
I'm hoping Atlanta United's going to be able to bounce back from these back-to-back losses with a win. But like I said, if it's going to be close, decided by one goal, I'm hoping for a 2-1. 3-2 result for Atlanta United.
Okay. I think the 0 on the score sheet would be incredibly beneficial for Guzan specifically. He looks pretty frustrated back there, so I'd love to see the clean sheet, and that's what I'm hoping for. But let's kind of keep track of that. So far, last week we both went 0-1, so let's see if we can turn it around this week and get at least the win column correct for the boys this time. That pretty much wraps up this week. After that game, obviously, we will play Monterrey at home on Wednesday for the second leg of the quarterfinals of the Concacaf. Want to stay optimistic for him, but Monterrey, honestly, is just a better side, in my opinion, and in mid-season form and in better shape. I think they'll handle business and knock Atlanta out of the CONCACAF, and honestly, that's all right with me. We saw Toronto fall apart with injuries and stamina issues when they went all the way to the finals of the CONCACAF. I just don't think the CONCACAF is beneficial structure-wise to MLS teams. So I'd be very cool with us just going ahead and bowing out in this round. You obviously want to get that trophy. If you're competitive at all, we want to win everything as fans, but looking towards the supporter shield that you were saying you were wanting to grab, and the MLS Cup that I'm definitely wanting to grab, and I'm sure you are as well, I think it makes more sense for us to just kind of focus on that and just go ahead and play some different guys, get them that experience against the Mexican team, and move on. So after that game wraps up, we will be doing our next show. It's going to be every Wednesday night. We will be touching on the Cincinnati game and then, of course, the Monterrey game as well. And we will see you guys then. Any final thoughts from you, Bryson?
Well, I just have to say, before we go, for the record, I disagree about the CONCACAF run that we're having. We're already in the quarterfinals, so after this round, you've only got the semis and then the finals left. It's not that much longer, and the MLS season's just starting up. We got plenty of time to make it into the playoffs and hopefully grab that supporter shield that New York Red Bulls stole from us last season. I think we can manage our schedule and our players. I think there's a way to do it, and I think Frank DeBauer will figure it out. I'm confident. So I hope we make a deep run into this and maybe take a shot at the championship for the Concacaf Champions League, and then we can focus more on the league. But I think we've got it in us.
Okay.
So that had to be said before we signed off.
I love it. I love the optimism in the team and in Frank. For me, if I hadn't seen what it did to Toronto last season, I would totally be on board with you the same way. But that crushed Toronto, and they didn't even make the playoffs. So, and with a very talented team, I felt like. So, for me,
hey, we're not Toronto, and I think we're more talented than they were. We've got better attacking options when we're full strength, and a younger team, and we play a way different style.
Yep. And you know what? Maybe the power of the Bins comes in our favor once again. The home crowd brings the energy, and we take it home. It would be incredible to see.
Just like we did in the last tie against Herediano, we can do the same thing. There's no doubt about it.
I love it. I love your confidence, Bryson. I fully support it, and I want the squad to obviously win every game. I don't think it's going to happen, but I hope you're right.
Fair enough.
All right, so we'll hit you guys up next week around the same time. Episodes will always roll out on Thursday mornings, and so we will catch you that time for the game next week. And obviously, hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube. Let us know your questions, concerns, and your opinions, and tell me that I suck for thinking that we can't win this next round of the CONCACAF as well, just like Bryson just did. And we
sucks, guys.
we want the interaction with you guys, so hit us up in the comments. And again, if you're watching still, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you next week.